Shia Rights Watch organization and Human Rights Center affiliated to the office of the Grand Ayatollah Shuazi has published its latest report regarding the violations of Shia's rights across the world. This report presents numerical figures and charts of anti-Shia movements by tech-free and terrorist groups that took place in June 2016. This report will be handed over to the public opinion, the media outlets, and the human rights foundations.
Incidents of anti-Shiism in June 2016. In the month of June, over 278 Shia lives were lost as a result of Shia-targeted killings in countries such as Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Syria, and Nigeria. Revocation of citizenship and detainment on basis of pro-democracy efforts not only has been continued, but also increased in Gulf nations such as Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Bahrain. In the month of June, attacks in the nations of Bahrain, Iraq, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Nigeria have resulted in the death count of 278, wounded count of 102, and arrest count of 41. Bahrain. Arrests in Bahrain top the charts. In comparison to the month of May, the number of arrests has doubled. Further, the number of citizenship revocations has increased extensively. The month of June coincided with the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. However, there was no sign of peace in Bahrain. In fact, tensions rose as Bahraini officials aimed to control affairs of the Shia communities. On the 19th of June, the Al Khalifa regime announced a statement to religious authorities in the country that Khums, a Shia religious taxation, must be announced to the government. Shia leaders and scholars have strongly denounced said statement by the government and condemned the officials' involvement with the group's religious affairs. A day later, Bahraini officials renounced the citizenship of Sheikh Isa Qasim, a prominent Shia leader and scholar. Following Qasim's arrest, hundreds gathered in the streets of Dairaz, Qasim's hometown, and protested this injustice. In order to quell pro-democracy efforts, Bahraini officials have increased their pressure on the Shia Muslim community by arresting and revoking citizenship of senior members of this community, which has failed in its efforts and has increased tension amongst masses. Iraq. Over 82% of Shia casualties were results of targeted attacks occurring in Iraq. The majority in Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, as a result of regional turmoil and Iraq's lack of strong central government authority, there is little security. The largest and most alarming attack occurred on June 7th, on which a car bomb detonated 5 kilometers away from the two holy shrines central to the city of Karbala, 80 kilometers southwest of Baghdad. 8 people were killed and 24 others were wounded. While not the largest in magnitude, this attack caused unparalleled fear as the two shrines are held central to the Shia faith. Pakistan. As anti-Shia sentiment continues to thrive in Pakistan, 4 are killed and 36 others are left wounded. The largest of attacks occurred in Quetta by an explosive device left on a bicycle in a marketplace. The explosion caused extensive damage to nearby stores and homes. This bomb was strategically placed in a marketplace as it targeted civilians who would be preparing for Eid al-Fitr festivities as the month of Ramadan comes to an end. It must be mentioned that one other bomb was found before its detonation in a separate event. In comparison to previous months, attacks targeting Shia population in Pakistan continue steadily with little signs of reduction. Saudi Arabia. Structural violence in Saudi Arabia becomes direct as a Shia individual lost his life as a result of raids in the eastern province. The eastern province is home to the largest Shia density in Saudi Arabia. Systemic violence against Shia Muslims have become outright. For decades, Shia Muslims have been treated as second-class citizens and have been denied their rights to fair education and job opportunities. Any form of dissent has been met with direct violence. Syria. Since April 2016, Shia death in Syria has increased by at least 25%. The environment of entropy in this nation as a result of revolution and the war against ISIS has led to the death of millions of civilians. This environment of chaos has allowed for less accountability for crimes against religious minorities and thus has led to the increase in targeted killings of populations such as that of the Shia minority. Since the beginning of the Syrian crisis, the town of Zainabiyya, located outside of Damascus, has been the target of attacks, as it is the central most Shia dense area of Syria. Further, this location is the destination of many religious pilgrims as they visit the shrine of Lady Zainab, Prophet Muhammad's granddaughter. June's largest casualty incidents were on the 11th, when 2 suicide bombers and 1 car bomber detonated their explosives in a busy street in Zainabiyya. This incident leads to the death of 20 and the wounding of over 24 others. Nigeria. Nigeria is home to one of the largest and fastest growing Shia populations in the African region of the world. Along with expansion, however, there has been an increase in targeting of this religious minority. Anti-Shia sentiment fueled by the Wahhabist ideology has spread throughout the nation and its officials. In 2015, Sheikh Zakzaki was ruthlessly detained and hundreds of his followers were killed and disposed of in a shallow unmarked grave. Since then, the targeting of Shia pockets in Nigeria has continued and in some cases has escalated. While extremist groups do exist, many of the acts against Shia have been carried out by government forces. Conclusion: over 6 months into the year 2016, Shia targeting does not seem to slow down. All over the world, Shia Muslims are sought out and targeted on the basis of their religious belief systems. Shia Rights Watch organization condemns any and all the attacks against Shia Muslims, as well as any act against humanity. Shia Rights Watch asks the governments to promote religious education and tolerance. This non-governmental organization also urges them to take the necessary steps in order to prevent future Shia rights violations.